Hey guys, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna be making some scrambled eggs. And let's talk about personal finance while I do it, okay? And before I start, I just wanna let you guys know I'm still figuring out how YouTube works. So there's not gonna be a lot of production value to this. I'm probably also not gonna edit it, so all the stuff that happens is just gonna be in one take, and I hope that's okay. Yeah, because I don't really know what this channel is supposed to be yet. So that all being said, let's make some scrambled eggs. First, we're gonna start out with the eggs. This I learned from a video from Gordon Ramsay. You may have seen this. So you're gonna do your eggs. I'm gonna do 4 eggs. I'm gonna put some butter in there as well, and then I'll turn on the heat. Okay. 3 and 4. Boom. And this is how much butter I'm gonna use because I don't care right now. All right, so personal finance, let's talk. I think it seems like a boring subject to a lot of people, and it kind of is if you do it wrong. A lot of people think that finance is all about just saving money for the future, and I can see how that's really boring, and I can see how a lot of people wouldn't want to get into it, just because, like, yeah, you could save for the future, or you can just spend the money now. And I totally get when people are like, I'm just gonna spend the money now. But that's not really what, oh, I used the wrong burner. That's not really not what personal finance is. If you're just saving money for retirement and for the future, you're doing it wrong. And it's not to say we shouldn't save, but kind of, you shouldn't save. So what you should do instead is think of it in terms of investing. So saving is just dollar for dollar, you're delaying gratification for gratification later. Investing, ooh, it is kind of smoking. That probably won't be a problem. We'll see. We'll see if it's a problem. Yeah, so investing isn't so much about delaying gratification as much as it is making your money work for you. So, sorry, one second. Can't find a spatula. We're gonna use a spoon. Okay, and just so you know, I am mixing the eggs and the butter together until it all melts into the eggs, and it'll be wonderful. It really will. So yeah, investing is having money and making that money work for you. Okay, so there's basically 3 types of investments in my book. There's getting out of debt, there's staying out of debt, and there's traditional investing, what I would call traditional investing. So let's get into each one of those. A lot of people would not agree with me when they say, or when I say that getting out of debt is a type of investing, but I totally think that it is. So let's give an example here. Let's say you're in credit card debt and the interest rate is 18%. Paying off that debt, that credit card debt, gives you a return of 18%. That's a lot higher than like investing in stocks, for example. Investing in the stock market would give you like an 8 to 10% return. So an 18% return is a huge deal. So that's like one of the best investments you can do, especially with high interest kind of debt, is to pay that off. Second is, like I said, staying out of debt. So a lot of people might say that this is just saving, but this is really intentional saving. And I would call this kind of intentional saving a type of investment. So a lot of people would call this kind of saving an emergency fund. So just having 3 to 6 months worth of expenses on hand only for emergencies. So let's say you get laid off, you have car troubles one day and you have to like really urgently replace that. And let's say like it costs like $1,500. You need to get that $1,500 from somewhere. And if you don't, you're gonna go into credit card debt or something like that. So that is, again, if you have that money on hand and you don't go into debt for it, that's again like the 18% return. So that's a huge deal. So yes, that is saving money technically, but only kind of. If you are just intentionally having that little bucket of money for not ever being in debt again, then it's an investment. And finally is what I would call the traditional investments. So think about like, ooh, it's getting a little hot. Once the eggs get a little hot, you alternate on and off the heat. don't worry, stick with me and you will learn all about this kind of stuff. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, traditional investing. So we're talking about like stocks and bonds and real estate, stuff like that. That's usually what you would kind of think of when people say investing. And that is kind of what you would do after you're done with your emergency fund and after you are done paying off like high interest debt. So what does that mean for you? Let's say, well, it depends on what kind of stage of life you're in and how many things you have already done. Let's say you're like in high school and you haven't started anything. Traditional investing might not be the thing for you yet. You might want to figure out what your monthly expenses are or will be once you're on your own, and try to like start saving for that. Starting adulthood and entering the workforce with your emergency fund in place puts you so much ahead of other people. So that's something you might want to do if you're younger like that. Let's say you're in college, you may be in student debt. Something you may want to do is, again, getting that emergency fund into place. And if you have any high interest debt, like credit card debt, you really, really want to make sure you get out of that, because that can be just a vicious cycle. And student loans are one thing. You do want to get out of that eventually, but it just doesn't compare to credit card debt. And finally, let's say you're not in debt. And all you need to do is make sure you have savings for a rainy day, and then you can start with your traditional investing. And that is really exciting because let's just say you're in the stock market. The stock market, or the S&P 500, which is what most people like think of when they say the stock market, that gets an 8% return a year. And let's say that you invest for most of your adult working life. So let's say like 40 years. The investments that you put in there will probably like quintuple. So that's so much better than saving, and that's so much more exciting in my book. So like thinking in terms of just saving your money is pretty boring, because it's just the same money you put into it goes back out later. But if you think about having your money go into somewhere and then it's working for you, that like gives you a certain peace of mind and a certain security over your own life, which is pretty cool. So that's why I'm like really kind of obsessed with personal finance. I really got into it once I got engaged. I was like, man, I really need to figure this stuff out, and now I can't stop. So if you guys have any questions on personal finance, I would be happy to answer them. Look at these. They're almost ready. Basically what you want to do with the eggs is just barely make sure they're not runny. And yeah, if you wait too long or just like have it too high a heat for too long, it'll get rubbery. And that's what we usually know as scrambled eggs in general. But Gordon has taught me the ways, and I love me some fluffy, not overcooked eggs. And so I haven't turned on the toaster yet, but let's pretend that I have the toast ready. Oh yeah, I think she's almost there. This is good timing. This is only starting to talk about investing stuff. If you guys want, let me know in the comments if you guys want to learn more about investing specifically, or about other kind of things with personal finance. So we can also talk about other things. I love talking about history. Love talking about, I know Spanish. I love linguistics kind of stuff. That'd be fun to talk about. Or just like myself, the show, comedy, whatever. That would also be great. All right, so we're done with the eggs. I'm gonna turn off the heat. A little bit of salt. Gordon taught me that you put in some chives. Maybe you see that. Oh, we gotta do the other one. Oh yeah, that's more chives. And here is the result. Boom. Scrambled eggs a la Gordon Ramsay. So yeah, if you like this, subscribe to the channel. If not, I totally understand. This was just really gratuitous kind of stuff while I make some breakfast. Well, it's 2:30 right now. It's breakfast food in the afternoon. Anyway, subscribe to the channel, like it, give me some comments and feedback, and I'll see you guys later.